Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. We're incredibly excited to bring Atlona AV solutions to the market and teach you a little bit about choosing the infrastructure to support all those different solutions. We'll run through some of the Atlona solutions to begin with. We'll go through circuit-based products, networked AV, and how to control them all. And then we'll talk about infrastructure considerations and go a little bit through what you need to look at when you're choosing an HDBaseT system versus an AV over IP system and everything in between. So Panduit purchased Atlona back in January, and we thought it was an incredibly exciting opportunity. One of the things that we really liked about Atlona was they offer a 10-year product warranty, and they have a lot of the same quality standards that Panduit values in our products. And the Atlona AV solution, it fits great with Panduit's Layer 1 infrastructure products. Not only can we offer our customers now the end-to-end copper cabling and copper management system, but we can now plug in those AV active devices on either end of the system to be able to give the end user full and total control. One great thing about Atlona is their innovation in the marketplace. So Panduit really admired their ability to get out there and innovate and really provide contractors with effective solutions to their pain points in the market. One of those things we saw was Atlona added USB-C capability to all of their products. This was really unique in the market because as we see things like MacBooks and Chromebooks, they only have USB-C connections. So as I'm sitting here presenting this webinar right now, I actually have my MacBook plugged into an Atlona transmitter and it's getting charged right off that USB-C connection. So really fantastic that Atlona can provide those innovative solutions and provide solutions that are going to be in place for years to come. And the last thing we really liked about Atlona was the AV over IP system. Atlona calls it OmniStream. And so Atlona's AV over IP system works great with Panduit's infrastructure capability. And with Panduit and Atlona working together, we can drive new innovation in the AV over IP space. Currently, we're actually building out a new AV over IP lab here at Panduit R&D Center, and that lab is going to allow us to teach best practices when sending AV signals over your network. So we're really excited with everything Atlona has to offer and the opportunity for Panduit and Atlona to partner together so we can drive innovation in the Pro AV market and the datacom market moving forward. As we start looking at Atlona's ecosystem, we see Atlona has a wide variety of HDBaseT products, video conferencing solutions, so those video conferencing cameras, as well as all the switchers and things that you need to send those AV signals with any of your soft codecs available on the market. Atlona also has a wide variety of presentation and matrix switches. We'll touch a little bit on that. BYOD options, so bring your own device. We want users to be able to walk into a conference room or a classroom and be able to display content easily and effortlessly, whether they want to plug in or they want to wirelessly share. AV over IP, I touched on, Atlona's had their OmniStream product line out in the market for a couple of years now, and we can't wait to start teaching everybody about the infrastructure considerations and how to send those AV signals over your network. And lastly, HDR. If you're like me, you really love going to sports bars, and when I go to a sports bar, I would love to see real-time sports games and have that high dynamic range video capability to see the ball moving across the screen. So first we'll talk about point-to-point connections. So in most of the conference rooms, probably over 70% of new AV installations use HDBaseT technology. So I want to be able to plug in my laptop, have my HDMI signal sent over category cable to a receiver where it's then converted back to HDMI to plug into that monitor. So single input connections, Atlona has a wide variety of product offerings in the HDMI space and HDBaseT space to send those HDMI signals and provide that tried and true HDBaseT technology system. One of the great things about Atlona is within any product family, there's actually a wide variety of products to choose from. We know that there's often budget constraints, probably every project we run into every day. So Atlona allows you to pick and choose the features that you need, which means that the Atlona products are going to come in at a price point often below the competitors. because you're only going to have to pay for those features that you need. Typically, we see HDBaseT extenders out in the marketplace, and they have 25 features, which is awesome that they can do 25 different things, but the user needs them to do 2 things. And so one of the great things about Atlona is you can pick and choose those capabilities, and you're going to end up meeting budget expectations with that. So as you can see here, it's a great example of some of the HDBaseT extenders Atlona offers. You can pick and choose what distance you need to run your signal. If you want control added, Ethernet capability added, you have access to power sources on either side. Atlona lets you pick and choose your solution for that. One great feature that's in many of the Atlona products is automatic display control. So automatic display control allows the user to walk into a conference room or a classroom and plug in their laptop or whatever their input source is. Maybe it's a Blu-ray player, and the whole system will power up. This is using HDMI technology. Atlona enables their devices to be part of the Hot Plug Detect HDMI standard protocol. And so this means when I plug my laptop in, my laptop's actually sending a little less than 2 milliamps of power up through my system to tell all my devices to turn on. So the Atlona transmitters, receivers, many of the switches have this capability built in, which means there's no user training involved. Often schools love this, or corporate enterprises love this capability, because they don't have to do any user training. Someone walks into the room, they plug in, everything turns on, they're ready to rock. When you start increasing the complexity of the system, Atlona has a full variety of matrix and presentation switches. So now I can add multiple input sources, whether those input sources want to be connected with HDMI, DisplayPort, USB-C, VGA connectors, which refuse to die out in the market. We can do that. And so whether you need 1 input or 12 inputs, Atlona has a switch for you. We see different matrix and mirrored output options for those different signal displays. So Atlona essentially is the active video transmission devices in any AV system. And you can use all the Panduit infrastructure to connect those devices. So now, contrasting HDBaseT and HDBaseT switches, we have AV over IP, or networked AV. So now, instead of using HDBaseT technology to send that HDMI signal, we're essentially taking that HDMI signal, we're packetizing it into Ethernet packets, and we're sending it across our network. AV over IP today, instead of having a transmitter and receiver like HDBaseT does, you'll see an encoder and a decoder. So it works the same way, where you have your input device, such as a laptop, with an encoder somewhere in the system, packetizing that AV signal to send across our network, decoding it behind some sort of monitor or projector, and then displaying that content. Today, AV over IP systems are a little more pricey than HDBaseT systems, but AV over IP gives you a lot of advantages. AV over IP allows you to go much longer distance. HDBaseT is limited to 100 meters, but maybe I need to send that signal to digital signs all across my network, and I need to go 500 meters or 1,000 meters. Or maybe I have one input, such as a laptop sitting in a telecom closet, that I need to send that signal out to many different displays around my enterprise. So I have many connection points. That's where HDBaseT isn't going to hold up. So typically we see if you have around 8 to 10 inputs and 8 to 10 outputs, anything less than that, HDBaseT is going to be your more price competitive option. Anything over that 8 to 10 inputs and 8 to 10 output range, AV over IP is going to be your best way to go if you're from a cost perspective. AV over IP also gives you an easier way to do moves, adds, and changes, because everything's being run across your network. You don't have to go back and buy another HDBaseT matrix switch, which gets pretty pricey. So I would recommend, when you're starting to look at HDBaseT versus AV over IP, look at the requirements. What are the number of inputs and outputs that you're going to see? Do you need the ability to do future expansion? As well as what lengths do I need to go? What lengths do I need to send that signal across? Atlona has single channel and dual channel encoders and decoders, which allows you to do a redundant stream of that AV signal for those mission critical applications. No one wants the CEO of the company to not be able to display his video in a corporate-wide message. In addition to sending AV audio and video signals, we can also send USB signals across the network as well. So we can do USB over IP, which now allows you to use things like wireless keyboards and mouses, and it also allows you to send things like touchboard displays and other USB-enabled devices signals across your network. So this is typically what a AV over IP system would be set up as. You would have your input, such as your laptop with your HDMI cable. Now that signal is going to be encoded to an Ethernet packet, can run across multiple switches. It can run across multiple switch layers to your decoder, where that decoder is going to then sit behind a monitor, and that monitor then can display your content. So you can have as many inputs and as many outputs as you want. The Atlona OmniStream system is unique in the fact that it runs with a VC2 codec. That codec actually allows for the lowest latency on the market. It's a broadcast quality codec, which means that it has 8 milliseconds of latency. That means it's visually lossless. So as a user, when I move something on my screen or I go to advance my slides, that signal is being sent across my network, and in real time, I can see that on any monitor. Personally, here at Panduit, our engineers love the Atlona AV over IP system because they can work in AutoCAD. And so with a lot of systems, AutoCAD has very bad latency, but we don't see that with the Atlona OmniStream system. One of the other features that you're going to get with AV over IP is forward error correction. So what that means is, as an Ethernet AV signal is being run across those multiple switch layers, you're often going to see pixel drops. That decoder can actually guess what those pixels are supposed to be and display that content up on your screen. So without this forward error correction capability, you would hear things like audio blips, and you would see discolored images, lines running across your video image, or you could see no image at all. So whether you're choosing HDBaseT systems with an HDBaseT transmitter receiver and a presentation switch, or you're choosing an AV over IP system, every product that Atlona has is going to have a LAN port on it, which means it can be configured in the Atlona management system. The Atlona management system is an easy-to-use configuration tool. You can do simple things like change the resolution, change the output, send signals to different places, encode, decode audio, whatever you need to do within that system. So most people use the Atlona management system in its native form as a free online GUI, and you can set up all those different things. The best part of the Atlona management system, as well as the Velocity system that we'll talk about next, is that you don't need to learn how to code. So anybody can use these systems. Everything's as easy as dragging and dropping. There's no 3-week coding class required. So once I set up my system in the Atlona management system and I tell those signals where they're being sent, now I can simply copy and paste that into velocity control. So velocity controls allows me to configure a building, and it allows me to design those user interfaces. So now I can do velocity control. I can set up things like touch panels, configure them however I need, whatever colors I need, whatever I want my user to see. Velocity control can also be third-party control many devices. There's many drivers that exist today for different third-party devices. Pretty much anything that has RS-232 control or IR control, you can control in the Velocity touch panel or Velocity system. And so whether you want to use an Atlona Velocity touch panel, or if your user has an existing iPad that they want to use, we can download an app for that, and we can use that existing hardware that they have. So with the velocity control, you're actually going to have a gateway that's going to sit on site at any enterprise, which allows the user to make any moves, as in changes that they see fit, and it allows them to own that source code. This is really advantageous. So every time a user needs to install one more monitor, they need to add an extra microphone, anything they need in that system, they can do it right there on site, and that source code will live on site. What we see with many enterprises is there's one AV specialist, and when he retires or gets another job, he leaves the enterprise behind, and he has now taken that source code with him. And so with the Atlona system, you don't run into that problem. The user owns their own source code, and it's easy to go in and make any moves, adds, and changes for future upgrades. So we've talked a little bit about HDBaseT and AV over IP and the control systems. And now we want to talk about what infrastructure do you need to pick for each of them. When you're looking at your infrastructure requirements, you want to look at what equipment you need. Am I going to be fine running a 1 gig system? Do I need a 10 gig system? What does my distances look like? Am I running AV over IP? We know it's going to go a long distance. Am I running HDBaseT but only running it for 30 meters? What are my distance considerations? What performance do I need? Am I okay with a little bit of latency? Am I okay with a little bit of signal degradation? And lastly, heat. Most AV devices, all of Atlona's devices, are powered by PoE or a variation of PoE, and so there's going to be heat considerations when we start to bundle those cables together. HDBaseT and AV over IP, when you start looking at different cable choices, are different from the perspective of the signal transmission. HDBaseT is a proprietary one-way signal transmission, where AV over IP is a two-way signal transmission. You're just taking that AV signal and packetizing it to Ethernet packets. So what does that mean for your infrastructure? HDBaseT infrastructure, you want to look at optimizing and limiting insertion loss. So you want to limit that attenuation across your cable. What does that mean? You want to look for your copper cables with the twist rates in the two pairs that are similar. Whereas AV over IP, you're going to look for the best performance requirements. When you start looking at HDBaseT cables, Panduit's done a lot of research in our lab, and we say the number one cable characteristic that explains HDBaseT performance is that insertion loss. So the higher category cable you choose, the better that insertion loss performance is, and so the better AV signal that you get. This is a little bit going to be dependent on distance as well, where you're looking at an HDBaseT system where you're only running that signal 30 meters, you're probably going to be fine with any cable choice that's out there. When you start looking at those longer HDBaseT runs, closer to that 100-meter maximum channel length, you're going to start seeing those pixel drops if you use a category 5E cable, for example. So insertion loss is going to dictate how far that HDBaseT signal can run, and it's also going to dictate how many pixel drops you see. When you start seeing pixel drops, the user is going to see discoloration of images. They're going to see lines running across their screen, or eventually they're going to see no image at all. So really look at the insertion loss performance characteristic when you're choosing cable for HDBaseT. When two cables have similar insertion loss, we have found that delay skew is actually going to dictate which cable can run that signal longer. So first look at insertion loss. If you're running across two cables that look the same, then look at this delay skew characteristic. When we start looking at AV over IP, now it's just an Ethernet packet. So you want to turn to the cable that's going to have best-in-class Ethernet performance. And so you're going to look at usually category 6A cable. Panduit's Varimatrix cable, for example, with its randomized cut pattern and the metallic tape, allows the best headroom warranty in the industry. So now you can choose that UTP cable and send all those AV signals along that UTP cable with best EMI performance. So there's no need to go to shielding when you're using Panduit's Varimatrix cable, because it's going to cut back on that EMI interference, as well as it's going to minimize alien crosstalk. So you're not going to have those two cables interfering in signal. And PoE. So typically, as we move more toward the AV over IP world, typically AV over IP represents about 8% of installations today. Going forward, we predict that it's going to be 50 to 60% of installations in the next 5 years. So those AV cables now are going to be mixed in with our data cables. And as we start to bundle those cables together, temperature rise becomes a big issue. So if you look at Panduit's Verimatrix cable, for example, it has a great LP rating, which means it's rated to carry PoE up to 100 degrees. And so you're not going to have to worry about temperature rise in the center of your bundle degrading that signal. We've seen this a lot in installations that we've done already, is when you start mixing in those AV cables carrying PoE to power things like touch panels, to power the decoders, to power the video conferencing cameras, that heat rise can become pretty rapid, pretty quick. So definitely look at PoE performance when you're choosing any of your cable. And with that, I will turn it back over to Jane.
Okay, thanks, Amy. We will use this time now to answer any questions that you may have. Please enter your questions in the chat box in the GoToWebinar app. Looks like, Amy, we had some come in already. The first one is, will there be certification training for Panduit Atlona solution?
There will be, yes. So Panduit's actually unrolling a new advantage to our Partner One program, where you can have access to free Atlona training, and you can actually start earning Atlona benefits and rewards as part of your Panduit One partner benefits. So you can start earning rebates as well as get things like discounted installation services, next day advanced replacement. So if any box fails on site, we won't ask any questions, we'll send you a new one, so there's no downtime in any of your projects. So there's a whole list of rewards and benefits that we have that is being rolled out right now. So feel free to go online to your Panduit Partner Hub and check out those benefits.
Oh, great. Our next question, Amy, says, does Atlona require STP cable for their warranty?
So there's a lot of AV manufacturers out there in the market today that require shielded cable. Atlona does not. And especially when you start looking at different cabling considerations, Panduit cable is going to be able to run your AV signal for whatever application you have. With our matrix tape technology, there's no need for that shielding.
Does Atlona offer product or installation training?
Yes. So currently, if you want to go online and apply for training, feel free to type in the token code Panduit1, Panduitone, and you can have access to all of Atlona's training. We're one of the few manufacturers that exist out there that offer all of our training for free.
Can the Atlona control system work with other manufacturers' products? Crestron, for example?
Absolutely. So the velocity control panel can actually control other third-party devices. So whether that's a lighting system, a Crestron DSP, that's digital signal processor, for example, or your shades rolling up and down, Atlona velocity control can work with all those different third-party devices. So if there's existing equipment that an end user wants to keep in their next AV upgrade, we can certainly do that and control all of those products.
We had another question come in here. Do the products meet use in military applications?
Yes, depending on the specific application and the government certification required, Atlona products do have many of those certifications, but we would have to look at that case-by-case basis. So if you have any projects or you have any specific certification requirements, feel free either email Atlona or email your local Panduit territory account manager, and we can absolutely help you with those projects.
We do have a couple more minutes, so if there are any other questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat box now. Okay, looks like we had another one come in. Atlona is new to us. Does Atlona have field engineers available to come on site, project site?
Absolutely. So Atlona offers free pre-sale design services, so we can help you design any of those systems for your projects, as well as there's the option to do installation services. As a Panduit One partner, we can offer discounted installation services. So an Atlona field engineer can actually come on site the first day of your project, for example, help you get all your devices loaded in at the Atlona management system and velocity control, and really walk you through the process of how to set that up. We see this pretty commonly with a contractor's first AV over IP installation. It's really helpful to have an Atlona network engineer on site to help get that system set up and make sure the signals are going to the right places.
Okay. And there's a question, it says, what is the website we should use?
You're welcome to go to atlona.com. Atlona.com will still continue to exist. They have a really great website where you can search for products either by product SKU or by solution area. So personally, I find searching by products for solution area the most useful. I go in, say I want a standard conference room setup. What does that BOM look like? What are the SKUs that are in that BOM, and how can I modify that? So Atlona's website will walk you through all of that. And if you're looking for Panduit products, you can definitely go to panduit.com and walk through all of your Panduit SKUs as well. So Atlona and Panduit will continue to have their own separate websites, and there's links embedded in each website that can send you to the other website.
So we have a few other questions coming in here. There was a question if it was okay if we send the presentation.
Yep, absolutely.
I can go ahead and send that on the follow-up email. There was a question regarding distribution. Which distributors are supporting and promoting the product?
So currently, if you're looking to buy Panduit and Atlona products together, you can buy that from Anixter, Accu-Tech, Graybar, Wesco today. There's also a whole host of distributors that carry just Atlona products. Stampede, Alamo, ADI are the big ones. You can find a whole list of Atlona's distributors on their website under where to buy. And Panduit products, you can find that on our website under our distribution partners as well. So, but the big four to buy both Panduit and Atlona together are going to be Graybar, Wesco, Anixter, and Accu-Tech.
Okay. We do have a question, and I think you may have mentioned this, but the question is, does Panduit Atlona have a demonstration lab functioning?
We do. Actually, that's a great question because that lab is actually getting finished today. So as part of our Panduit Experience Center, we can bring you in. We're building out a video wall today, so we can show you HDBaseT systems that we have live in action. We can show bring your own device, so that wireless content sharing, and we can show AV over IP that's powering that video wall and let users interact with the Atlona management system and velocity control.
Oh, great. Is there anywhere a demo of the product anywhere in California?
Yes. So reach out to your local Atlona sales manager or your Panduit manager, and they can absolutely help you get your hands on a demo. We offer two different things. We offer a product demo, so if you're interested in putting an Atlona product in your showroom, we'll give you a big discount off the MSRP price. Or the second thing we have available is a product evaluation. So we can actually allow you to demo a device for 30 days, where you bring the device in-house. An Atlona sales engineer will help you get it all set up, and you can work with it for 30 days and see how you like it.
Okay. Just a couple more here. I know we're kind of at the end of our half hour here. Does Atlona maintain a list of certified installers?
We do. So if you go on Atlona's website today, there's a list of dealers. We also have access to look at any contractor to see if they've completed the training requirements to be listed as a certified dealer.
Okay, and let's see if we can squeeze in this last one here. Are there vertical markets in place such as education and healthcare?
Yes, so Atlona's strongest vertical market is going to be education, very closely followed by corporate and healthcare. So those are going to be Atlona's main vertical marketplace, and that's where we're going to see the most value with the Atlona systems.
Okay. Looks like we are at the end of our half hour. I want to thank you for all of your questions. This will conclude today's webinar. We thank you for your time.